Alright, so I watched an anime recently called Metallic Rouge. I think the best way to explain this is to bring up one direct priority. If you know what it is about, same thing happens here. It's not exactly the same kind of story, but really it's not as bad as well, but the shift is very noticeable. If you don't know what it is about, Metallic Rouge is great, up until episode 5 or 6, although it starts going off during those episodes already. The part after that is honestly insulting. It felt as if the beginning was written to rival the Ghost in the Shell, the original one, the high quality series. And then after that, someone's little kid got into the writing room and decided that the power of friendship is too important not to have everything revolve around it. What a spectacular letdown. Okay, what is it about? In a dark green future, only humanity is allowed to reign. The Mars is terraformed, Venus is on the way, and the aliens are somewhere out there, plotting to overtake all. But there are significant issues from within as well. Neons, the intelligent androids, are threatening to revolt. Led by the prototype Neons, they seek to eliminate the Asimov code, the only thing keeping the dirty clanks in line. Rouge, a Neon not bound by the code, is the only one who can stand toe-to-toe against them. I tried to make it sound more racist and pretentious than it had to be. Like I said, the beginning felt a lot more interesting and deep, after which it basically became a Scooby-Doo. Yeah. What did I enjoy? Okay, I'm being all doom and gloom about this, but I did enjoy some parts immensely, such as the designs. This is essentially Warframe, but I kinda like these designs more than Warframe actually. There's just something cooler about them. Also, they don't look metallic instead of whatever hell chroma is. Red putty? Anyway, there's one thing I can freely praise, it's the visual aspect. The designer or designers here went all out and came with cool stuff, which honestly reminded me of my childhood and watching either older anime or Power Rangers, and been excited to see all these transformations. They're just so shiny and cool. And by the way, the out-of-combat designs I also liked. Rouge herself is somewhat bland, but I wouldn't call it a bad design. Naomi, though, is just gorgeous. And I liked the things normal neons have on their bodies, and especially faces. It's a simple idea, but it gives them this futuristic look. Aside from that, I like the fight scenes, although sometimes it feels like they drop a ball, so the quality can be completely all over the place. I especially would like to praise two moments. The scene with Naomi using the gun in episode 5, and in the last episode when the big bad shows off their power. It was so quick and brutal, just absolutely massacred. I couldn't help but gasp. The rest of the series had some cool fights, but these two moments stand out especially. I'd like to praise the relationship Naomi and Rouge have, and just Naomi in general. Honestly, I feel like if Naomi wasn't done this well, I probably would have dropped this series somewhere during episode 8 or 9. Like I said, there's a huge dip in storytelling quality and the plot becomes terrible. But throughout that whole ordeal, Naomi remained the highlight of it all. The sounds she makes, random pouting and extreme reactions to everything, she is just fun. There's no two ways about it. And because Rouge is so dense and honestly a dummy, the two work really well off each other. I'd definitely seen this kind of pairing before, now when I think about it. Something like Disney's Hercules and Danny DeVito. Not exactly it, of course, but there are bound to be countless examples. I'm not tired of seeing it, that's all. And it was done pretty well here. Oh, and also the jester guy, Jeron. I had to look it up because I don't actually remember hearing him named. It was mostly other characters shouting, "It's you!" as he cackles maniacally. That guy is like evil Naomi. He is a total piece of crap and ruins absolutely everything. Pretty much Joker, but I gotta admit, I never liked Joker as a villain, and I didn't like the contrast with Batman that much. Here, though, this kind of crazed asshole is just wonderful. The fact that he can transform into anybody is another plus. As he makes a great show of it in episode 6, he's definitely another highlight in this anime series. And also another thing I didn't mention since, well, I'm a guy, but this anime is an empowering story for women. The main duo are super competent in their areas, they kick ass, and there are plenty of other women who do so as well. If anything, men are almost damsels in distress more often than anything else. Not exactly what happens, but the idea is that generally in most stories women are written as secondary characters only. Some might be in main roles, but they are simply not as capable as the men. Probably boils down to the fact that women just don't write these kind of stories as often. They gravitate toward more romance and stuff. Not the case here. Action, mystery, general badassery. And so instead of it's a lot more about women, which, well, again, a guy, so it was refreshing. It wasn't magical girls or some sexualizing garbage. These were cool characters and they did cool things, and I appreciate that. Although, I guess not too much. What did I dislike? Or in other words, what the hell is wrong with it? Because again, I adored the first 6 episodes. Some parts were weird, but overall, goddamn, what a great start. I was excited. So without spoilers, it's difficult to spell out what exactly I have a problem with. But the gist is what the mood, tone, and pacing, and the actual goal of the story, the message it was trying to tell. They say message. Anyway, all of it went completely out of the window. And instead it went in this crappy, boring direction which was done a bajillion times before. All the while relying on tired old cliches which were already old before 2000s. And the thing which I dislike even more is what I feel like the overall idea behind the second half of the episode is not actually that bad. It's somewhat forgettable, but I believe it can be done well enough to at least not be insulting. It's just what it was as if the setup and the characters in the first half were turned into caricatures of what they were before. They were starting to bloom into their own, developing into deep, fascinating people, but instead they got turned into shallow copies of themselves. Flanderization of sorts, only sped up significantly. Best way to describe it without spoiling it is to talk about Rouge herself. She's very bland and robotic, very fittingly so. She's fully artificial, and I won't say more. So her being like this fits. However, as she follows her mission, she begins to unravel and question everything. Why is she doing it? Why did she kill those people? What is the reason? And why should she be above them? And most importantly, what does she actually want? And when the second half comes, it's as if any attempt to let her develop further has been abandoned. There's just nothing. Only attempt, if it can be called that, is her relationship with the new character. And that is again, extremely shallow, rushed, and lazy. It's implied to be interested, but it's basic, boring, bland garbage. So I suppose to some degree the problem might be pacing. Again, the first half had time to show the events. The second speed ran through the rest of the story, all the while not feeling fast in any way, in fact dragging things out at times. It's completely depressing. Because I feel like it could have turned into a fairly interesting franchise. There's a rich world with multiple planets and spacefaring races. There's the girl power angle, and there are cool designs to make money off merchandise. It should have worked, but they completely dropped the ball. I feel like I should just stop liking things if that's how things are gonna turn out. Just hate everything so nothing can disappoint me. Oh well.